due to some situation beyond our control. But we know that you, our viewers, the lovers of perspective, you're waiting, and we're here for you, ready to take you on that lovely journey this morning. So you know, I don't do this alone. I'm alone, and I don't do it alone. I have my ladies in the house, although there is a fresh face. Yes, so I am start with Isosa. Yes. Good morning,
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
It's a beautiful Friday morning, and I came across something I would like to share. Just very short. It says, instead of counting days, why don't you make the days count?
Oh, yes.
So basically, it's not too late for you to start that plan. Stop counting days and procrastinating. Take the bull by the horn. Make those plans. Take those steps, and stop counting days. Make those days count.
Make those days count. That's quite an interesting one. I think we should apply it to our daily life. Make your days count. Stop counting days. Good morning.
Good morning. It's an honor to be seated with two gorgeous ladies. I'm so excited. I'm elated to be seated with you guys.
It's nice having you. It's nice having you. All right, because we've lost a lot of time.
Yeah.
Let's just go straight to the newspaper headlines this morning, and I have the Punch newspaper with me with this creamy headline. In fact, there's this headline before headline. It says a shocking surge. Electricity subsidy jumps 220% to 2 trillion naira. That's a whole lot. Electricity subsidy surge. All right. We also have ADC kickstarts 2027 manifesto drive. They're not take an easy. It seems this thing it's going to be a tough one. Like we said, it's not. ADC is not taking it easy at all.
Yes.
All right. The massive shocks to fuel loading terminals over security breach. Alright, Dangote hails fuel discount scheme amid fraud allegations. And we also have another one. Awujale shoots. Ruling House kicks off selection, insists on tradition. Alright, those are the few ones I'm going to be taking from the Punch newspaper.
Okay, so moving on to Nigeria Tribune, we have this saying, Tinubu, Akpabio, Abbas, others celebrate Buhari at expanded FEC. And there's a writer too that says, University of Maduguri, now to be known as Muhammadu Buhari University. Yes. We also have generations will feel his absence. That's coming from Tinubu. He left a legacy of reforms. That's coming from head of service. His integrity was unmatched. That's from Alake. Tinubu will uphold dignity of Buhari's family, casting out people, and that's coming from Shetima. We also have NDC to federal government. You can't spend billions to repair refineries and sell without full audit. South contributed 34 trillion naira to Nigeria's economy. That's coming from CIBN. Soldiers rejected 13.7 million naira bribe from terrorists. Don't be an Oba if you can't abide by tradition. That's coming from the law of Owo.
The law of Owo.
Yes. Eichmann, IYC, back proposed sale of Port Harcourt refinery gives conditions. Delegates propose restructuring of security architecture, electoral reforms, and others. And there is a rider that says, Advocate Constituent Assembly, Devolution of Power, Unicameral Legislature. That's all we have from the Nigerian Tribune.
Alright, let me quickly speak about if you don't be a traditional ruler,
don't be an Oba, if you cannot uphold the
traditions. That's key, because we know that others are traditional rulers.
Yes.
And if you're saying that's why something got me one certain time, they said a pastor wanted to become an Oba, are you going to leave your
I think it is clear when we all did social studies in primary school, and it's clear that we have three religions, which is the Christian, the Islamic, and the traditional. So you cannot be romancing between two. You have to either pick one. If you want to go for the Christianity religion, then let it be Christianity. So you cannot you can't sit on the fence. You cannot be a traditionalist and a Christian at the same time. So of course you have to pick which one you fall under.
Exactly. Okay, so Tinubu, what do you have to read?
We have Tinubu leads reign of tributes for Buhari at special FEC session. Here's a rider. It says University of Maiduguri renamed Muhammadu Buhari University, and that's all we have on the nation today.
All right, so that's a good one. A lot of people have applauded the naming of the university after our late president Muhammadu Buhari. While some are also like, why should it be? But I mean, we've had that in the past. A lot of universities, monuments have been named with.
There's always going to be positive and negative reaction.
All right, let me take New Telegraph. It says $9.4 billion U.S. foreign aid cancellation will disturb Nigeria's key sectors. That's coming from OPS. And obscure firm buys Otudeco Assam Odukale's first Udoco shares for 323.45 billion naira. It's also here Tinubu renames University of Maiduguri after Buhari. And the Constitution review. Patriots recommend no constitution for Nigeria. And on page 5 of No Telegraph, you see this story. Insecurity, our troops intercepted bullet-reading vehicle, recovered 13.7 million naira. This is coming from the HQ. Also, Pope expresses sadness after Israel strike on Gaza. Church kills 3. You can find the details of that story on page 4 of the No Telegraph.
Okay, moving on to the next, we have the Guardian newspaper, and this says life, legacy, controversies, and 12 million votes left behind. That's on page 4 and 5. That's the big story on the Guardian today. Then we have ADC demands audits of refineries, alleges wastage of $20.8 billion. Amnesty for Tinubu's empty directives against attack and killings. Kano governor directs new CAS aides to declare assets. I think that's a good one. Yes, declaring of assets before you it's not. They ought to, but the thing is, I hope they actually follow it up because it's actually going to be a good one. Okay, still on the Guardian, Tinubu remains Unimed after Buhari's lead FEC tribute. 100 most notable African leaderships and business summits holds in Kigali. Rising youth population may mar national progress, MPC warns. Okay, rising youth population may mar national progress, MPC warns. Yoruba Forum, Owaneze, wins Atiku Obi's chances against Tinubu in 2027. Okay, I think we have one more. He says Nigeria loses $1.2 billion to medical tourism yearly, says WHO boss.
All right, that's from that. Let's take the...
And on the Daily Times, we have the APC government spends $18 billion on refineries rehabilitation. ADC demands audits before sales, and details of these stories can be found on page 2. Also, we have Olatomiwa William bags Microsoft regional role in East Africa. Details of this story can be found on page 14. Also, we have the reps received 36 requests for state creation. Details of this story can be found on page 9. And on page 2, we also have Buhari was a man of unwavering principle, deep moral conviction. Tinubu says at fake tributes. Do we support that?
Of course, we know that the man is indeed a man to be honored. I mean, a disciplined man and a man with integrity. A lot has been said about him. Let's go to the Vanguard newspaper. Buhari's patriotism lead in deeds, not words. That's coming from Tinubu. That's on page 5. Why G5 betrayed Atiku PDP in 2023. That's from Autumn. Alright, and the final one. Port security. Nemasa shuts 2 facilities for non-compliance. And also from the Vanguard newspaper, ADC to FG audit $21 billion spent on refineries before sale. That's on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper. And of course, Nigeria reaches 79.65% tele density, 40.81% broadband penetration. That's from NCC. Okay, I think that's that. Interpol probes importation of 3.3 billion naira damaged solar panels. And Mission X, no room for errors against Zambia. Madugu assures Nigeria, as we know that the match, the tournament that is going on now, Nigeria will be facing, that the Super Falcons will be facing Zambia in their next match. I will pray for victory for them. Okay, that's all from the newspaper headlines this morning on Perspectives. We'll go straight to the newsroom for Developing Stories. After a while, we'll be going to the newsroom for Developing Stories. But then, what do you wish the Super Falcons?
Of course, I wish them well. I wish them to do well and represent.
Why the confusion? Many thanks for joining us. It's the Perspectives on Osrc Television. Welcome back from the newsroom where we served you some stories, some developing stories. Welcome back. Alright, today we have a guest in our midst, but you'll meet her after we talk about our focus for today. There was something I saw on the internet trending about a young lady who said with her JAMB score, they're asking her to go for medicine and she really want to go to be a teacher. Let me just go through it. 278 in UTME, I chose education and everyone lost their minds. Okay, and she said, why would someone so intelligent waste a score like that on education? You should be studying medicine. You deserve better. That was the comment she got after she chose to go into education. And she said, no education. No, education to me is not a waste. I didn't deserve better. I deserve my dream. I kind of like that. I deserve my dream. It's her dream, and that's what she deserved. And she said, my dream was to teach, to build minds, to challenge lives. But in Nigeria, when you say you want to teach, people are like you failed, like you are unintelligent. She said that in her first semester courses, she had 11 A's, 1B, boom, and HOD Fixes offered me a department switch, you know, and a future job after my master's. And I said no. Not because the offer wasn't tempting, but because I knew myself and I knew I wasn't called to just chase titles. I'm saying all of this so we take note of those words she used. She's not meant to chase titles. I was born to build futures. Those are our words. And she said, but guess what? Now, JAMB just released the 2025 UTME cutoff for colleges of education, and guess what? 100 cutoff marks. Let that sink in. Not average, not 150, not 140, 100, you know. And we are out there screaming about half-baked teachers. How would they be half-baked when we admit students with 100 marks for cutoff to train the nation's future? You need over 200 to study law or medicine, but just 100 to teach those who will become lawyers and teachers. This is madness. Let me be blunt. She went ahead and said quite a lot, but then our focus today on the show is the role of guidance and counseling in grooming future leaders. And our guest today on Perspectives is a friend of Osrc Media Group and the newly sworn-in member of the customary court here in Ondo State. I'm talking about no other person than Bola. She's also a mother and a marriage counselor. Good morning, Bola.
Good morning, Remy.
Nice to have you again.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here, especially for this topic that we are discussing and is trending. We need to enlighten people out there what it is to pursue one's dream.
Okay, let me start with you, because like you said, it's about pursuing one's dream. So can you share a bit about your journey, what led you into marriage counseling, and how as mother shaped your perspective on leadership development?
That's an interesting question. Number one, I love my dad. Yeah. My dad happened to be a priest, even though he's late now. So he spoke to me about accounting and administration. And I wanted to do what he wanted. So I represented me. And after I graduated, I chose where I wanted to work. I work in an insurance company. And I work in the personnel department. So people come in for employment to drop their letters of their application letters and some other things when they want to apply for loan. And I was doing it. But one day, I did that for my vacation job. After that, I was absolved and I was transferred to the marine department in the insurance company. But when I was there, I had friends, people found it easy to come to me, they talk to me, I give advices and so many other things. And somebody came to me and said, you would have been better as a social worker. Honestly, at that time, I didn't know what a social worker was. No, and thereafter, retrenchment came. I was retrenched. The company closed down after that. I did this job, that job, but I worked in a company in Ibadan, a great company, they are called Zatec. So one of the days I just didn't like what I was doing there, so I resigned. And my dad got to know about it. I told them my dad influences me a lot. My dad got to know about it, and he said, "Where's your pastor? Go and bring your pastor, let's talk." And my pastor came. And instead of him telling me that go and resume your job again or advising me, the first thing he said was that, "Madam, which was prophetic anyway, when we use it that way. There are different ways in which you can discover your dream or what you are made out for." So he told me that if only we can do seminars, and and I don't know where that came from. And I started doing seminars in church as a women leader, as a youth coordinator. I started doing it in church. After some time, I stepped down to be doing it publicly. I organized programs publicly and I was doing it. I continued doing it. But I needed to know which area that I need to do these seminars, on. I discovered I had flair for families, relationship, marriage, and I continued in it. And I did it for years. After some time, I sat down and I checked all my write-ups. I discovered it as being on marriage, family, and I continued that way, even though I was not earning my living from there. I was doing other things, but this gave me joy. It gave me joy, and I started going for short courses to be trained in this area, and today, I can say that's what I do for life now.
That's quite an interesting one there. Your story is quite interesting. So from your experience, we can say that your dad played a very key role.
Even though I wanted to be a priest, as a priest, but in the Anglican communion in Nigeria, they don't ordain women. Okay. They don't ordain women. I lived in Kenya. When I got to Kenya, I saw women with collars. Women bishop, women priests. I tried to get in touch with my dad to meet me up with some priests and the bishops here who could influence. And one of them said, even if you train abroad, where you go to practice, are you not coming back home? Of course, like your dad will say that even that was So they discouraged me. I said, just right. And let me tell you, even if I have trained as a priest, maybe I won't be fulfilled. But what I'm doing right now is my passion. Yeah, it's my passion. I love it. I do it out of and I put everything I have in it, my energy, my everything is into what I'm doing right now.
Sometimes it's difficult for people, just like you came out, you knew what you wanted. When you were involved in talking to people, you found out that you had a flair in talking. So now for people it's quite difficult for them to know, this is what I have passion about. How can they actually come out and realize that these are the things I have passion for and these are the things I don't? So how can they help themselves?
Well, everybody has, there will be something you like doing. Let me give a small example. Maybe you like eating. But you can't be eating for a living. Maybe you like eating and in the process you like cooking. You cook and you eat. So because you like eating, you look at this recipe, that recipe, and people who are around you can say, you this girl, don't you think you should go for catering? Don't you think you should do this? You get. Then if you're the kind of, let me use busybody. When they are doing something, telling you is wrong, you want to put your mouth, you want to fight for somebody, then maybe you're thinking of becoming a lawyer. or somebody who can
Like an activist.
Yeah, like an activist. So that's another thing.
Okay.
Okay. Let's now look at. I started with a story of a girl who was 278, and she said what she wants to do in life is to teach, to build, to impact in the new ones, the younger generation. And they are already like, how can you be that intelligent and you feel teacher is the next thing? Why is it that some professions are looked down and some are taken as if they are the one in quote, like she mentioned, like they are the intelligent ones, why these ones are not intelligent? It's our society. Yes. Our society and our parents. Some of our parents bad mouth what they're doing. They don't really derive joy in it, but they are doing it. Maybe the reason for them going to it was not really was not something they could defend. For example, a lot of people are going to teaching because going to education because they do not have enough fund to train their children. And maybe they are the one that will choose what the children want. But in a situation where children are enlightened, we are just coming up in this country to study our children and to make them to go after their dream. Now, when you talk of teaching, like this lady said, it's not compulsory that you be in the classroom before you can be a teacher. You can be impacting life. What we are doing right now, we are impacting life. We are enlightening people. So you must be able to know which area of teaching that I want. Maybe this lady has been able to see a teacher. For example, even the teachers in the schools, they indirectly influence their students. Now, in my Form 3 or Form 4, I have a teacher who was an English teacher in Yale, but he doesn't dress well. He comes to the class in white trousers and everything about him is being exposed to the class. So when he comes into the class, I put my head down. I don't listen to him. Because I didn't like what he was presenting of himself. But when the exam came, English is a major course. So I took my time to read English to make sure that I pass it. Now, if I was interested in being an English teacher, that man might have even changed my mind from being one, or if he was good, he would make me to do something better. For example, my literature teacher, the way she demonstrates in the class can make you to want to be a teacher. She teaches us poems and demonstrates. Now, education in this country is what we do with a lot of difficulties. Abroad or in other countries, there is a way they do it that make it interesting. They have a lot of practical things that they show in the class and make the student to know that this is it. To be a mechanical engineer, this is it. To be a lecturer, this is it. To be a pilot, this is what it is. And by showing these children, I'm not talking of counseling in schools. That is actually where you should start. By demonstrating, show them pictures, like people talk about Montessori schools. It is a way of making our children to develop interest in something. And it can be nothing. It can be just colors. It can be just motorbike. It can be just vehicles. By the time they start doing this, we'll be able to know what they have flair for and help them to pursue it. Not because this is what we want them to do.
Okay, so in a society now where, just like you said, in Nigeria now, because even with the story she read, now teachers are being taken with 100, I think the score mark is 100. Now sometimes some parents would not maybe intentionally want to take you out of your passion, but because they feel like there is no dream in that passion that you want to follow. So in cases like that, what should these children or students now do?
Just come again.
Okay, that's talking about the role of the
what ways can we improve, like the role that family plays in gaining a girl child leadership skills? Like in what ways can they improve?
A girl child?
Yes.
Why a girl child?
Not a girl, not basically
like children.
Yes.
Yes. One thing is that everybody, God has made every one of us with talents.
Yes.
So you don't follow your talent, you don't follow what you study, you don't follow what your parents love doing. Because our Bluetooth can influence our children. I know my son, my stepson, the parents are doctors. The father and the mother, they are doctors. So because they don't really have somebody to take care of him at home, so they take him to work. The boy is already talking that he wants to be a surgeon because he's always experience. Whereas another child said, no, this is what I want to do. This is what I give an example. My dad, he said he used to see how people drive. So he said he wanted to be a driver. There are sometimes it may be prophetic, it can be in dream, but you need to interpret it. He said he wanted to be a driver, but when he was growing up, when he plays with other children, these priests, they put something on their waist. So he said he takes maybe a scarf or something and put it, and they will know our children used to play and all that. Even a pastor is driving members of his church.
Exactly.
So he picked one. He didn't become a driver, he became a priest. So at times you need to really look inside what is God saying if you are the spiritual type. My own daughter is an editor. There was a time we pray, and what came from was that something that has to do with the media. She was still in secondary school.
My boy now, because he enjoyed watching football with his dad, and when you ask him, what do you want to be? He said, I want to be a footballer. And I told him, well, there's nothing wrong in playing football, but you must have education to it. I believe that as time goes on, he might change his mind. Even though we also we know footballers are making quite a lot all over the world, but we know that education is also very important to drive, and to make him perform better. And a friend also shared with me how the daughter said she wants to be an archaeologist, and that was like, what got searching for dead bodies and all that. So parents really need sometimes the interest of parents sometimes is what they want their children to be. So but then how do you balance discipline and encouragement in guiding your own children to become responsible leaders? Balance discipline and encouraging them.
Balancing discipline and encouraging. Now, nobody is perfect. If you are not always with your children, you'll not be able to notice what they are doing wrong. So when you notice what they are doing wrong, correct them with love. This thing is wrong, this one is right. Make them close. And there's something of recent that when your children children are very inquisitive. They want to ask questions. When they come to you as a mother, we are supposed to have more time. Though it doesn't go that way, at times it's fathers that have more time. So when they come to you and they want to know, please stop and listen. Then explain to them. And at times we don't know it. When you don't know it, take time to search. They are expected to be versatile, to know. In fact, they want us to know all things.
All things.
Yes. And these children, what their teacher teaches them surpasses what they hear from their parents.
Exactly, because they will argue with you. My teacher said it's like this. And when you tell them, this is the way it should be. No, my teacher said.
So much confidence.
Exactly.
So, and at times students get discouraged when they are doing something and they are not getting it. For example, when my children were growing up, I went to their school, and as I got to the school, the children were packed to one side. And I said, they were looking at me, I said that my son was there. And I said, what is wrong? Said they want to beat them. For what? Said they forgot their tie. Okay. I said, okay. For today, because I'm here and because my son is here, please forgive them and give them another chance. That tomorrow, make sure they bring it in. It doesn't have to be everything came. Let them know the importance of that thing that you are asking them to do. The pros and the cons. They want to know. If you don't tell them, they will go behind. We send them. So, for example, there's something you don't do right. That is sex education.
Yes.
We don't tell them. We are afraid, but they will know.
They'll find out.
They'll find out. So sit them down. Even grown-ups, all they know that the Bible said. Why did the Bible say it? We must open it and let them know that this is why it is like this.
Yes, you know, that children of nowadays are so inquisitive. Yes. They want to know. So I would ask, what steps do you take to ensure that students are college and career ready, like both family and in schools? What steps can you take to make sure that students are college and career ready?
Once they start, by the time they get to GS3, before they get to SS1, the school is unfortunately, let me put it this way, unfortunately, schools don't have counselors anymore.
Exactly.
They actually employ them, but they tell them to do other things. So they don't have time to put these children through. Then, even the schools are not paying teachers well. Schools where they are paying teachers well, that is private school, they use them as if they are using them for, I don't know what you call it, they want to use. I was once an administrator in the school, and I was staying within the estate. When the proprietor passes through the estate, he will call me around 6 p.m. The light here is this, as if we are supposed to use your life to worship them. Let's balance things. There are ethics, there are principles for engaging staffs. So when you engage a staff and you didn't treat her well, the children are looking at it. Yes. Why do ministers' children, pastors' children say they don't want to become a pastors? Because they know that these people just spend their time in church. What they are being given cannot be compared to what they labor for. Yeah. A lot of pastors are doing so much, but their children are suffering. They don't have time to pay attention to their children and their morals. There are some pastors' children, when you tell them, come on, let's pray, they say that is it. It's prayer. So many things go into it. Yeah. Teach them faith, teach them how to follow God, teach them how to pray, and so many fast, and so many other things. So, in schools, employ counselors. Let them do their job. Then, when you engage them in career talk, they will go home and tell their parents. Sure. When Auntie came today, she said this, Mom, that's what I want to do. I want to become a teacher. Then when we ask, maybe that day we tell you, Mommy, that is what I want to do. Or we say, okay, I'll do something else. I want to become a nurse. In fact, these days, a lot of people put their children, they want their children to become nurses. Yes. Ask me why.
Because it's selling well.
It's selling well. They are going abroad.
It's selling well abroad.
Is that what we should use to judge?
Exactly.
It's not. Let them do what they are created for. In fact, for the girl child, I think that before you think of life, think of how you can discover yourself, your talent, things you can do as a career, things you can do like for a living, handcraft and some other things.
Exactly.
Then you can tax your way, trade.
That means the school needs to work hand in hand with parents to ensure the progress.
Of course.
Yes. Okay, let me quickly chip this in because you spoke about sex education for children, and I think this is something that we've always been talking about. As a mother and as a counselor, at what age do you think children should be taught sex education?
From the womb. From the womb. Because as a parent, as a mother, first of all, you go and check the sex of your child. Just that. So you begin to prepare your mind that this is what it should be. And when you have your child, begin to teach them this. I did. I taught my children. I said, this your hair. Your head is yours. Nobody should touch it. Your pant as a lady should not be seen by somebody else. Your chest, I taught them that. Then I told my daughter when she was growing up that if a man comes near you and starts to say, Yawemi, something, So I teach them that I don't make them to feel that this is. Some of us teach them what is not. And when a man comes close to you, you get pregnant. That's not supposed.
The private parts we give them all the names. But the child is supposed to be aware of this is what it is called. But we try to give them a name.
Let me give you an example. A married woman, when she was working, the boss, the GM, was actually sleeping with almost all the girls there, even the married women. And being a media person, I go in there to do programs. So this lady, she just said maybe she used that opportunity that my counselor to approach me. And she said, ma, that this thing happened, their GM slept with her. She's a married woman. And that she cannot but think of this man all the time, that maybe the man has done juju to her. I said, no. The man did not do anything. The only thing is that we don't put sex in where it should be. Sex is meant to be after marriage, because what does it do? It bonds. It bonds the husband and the wife. Yes. Now when you do it before marriage, it will still do his work. When you talk of God, don't sit with that person. Yes, it bonds you with the man, with the person. Don't be tired if you do it to the wrong person. You just discover you start following that person as if you do it with multiple people. Yes. So that is when we are teaching children, let them know the reason why. They will think faster. They will understand and they won't disturb you. In fact, they will be the one to teach others that this is, my mommy said, this thing is wrong. And they will stay with it.
All right, let's go back to this issue of underrating some courses. This lady said something. She even went, let me be blunt, a country that treats education like a dustbin for rejected students will never rise. A system where intelligent people are told they are too smart to teach is doomed. A nation that sets the bar so low for teacher training is signing its own death warrant. Now, what role do you think government, because I know earlier when you said the society, it's to blame for this. What can government do? How do we begin to appreciate this?
You see, this thing started a long time. I schooled in the north, and you find out that after your work, most of them are going to Ahmadu Bello University. They are going to do prelim.
Yeah, prelim.
And most of the time, even with F9, with so many F9s, they take it. See, then, I don't know now, because we have a lot of northerners who are doing well in the society. But then, no matter your score, you will enter. Then it was as if they were begging the northerners to read, to learn, to go to school. Now, it's like that is what is happening to us here now. Even the teachers, even the present teachers, many of them cannot speak good English. Many of them cannot really write good, they don't have good handwriting, they cannot really write, they can't speak good English, they can't, when they write for you, you have to correct them. So even the parents that are looking at the report of their children, that are looking at the books of their children, they are getting discouraged. It's going to be days when the public school was better than private school. It's the other way around now. So for us to help our children, I mean in the area of I said the society, but who is the society? It's we.
We have a society.
Yes. When the principal of the school said that my children cannot become a teacher, what is he trying to say? Then he's not discharging his duty as he should be. Now, let me tell you, when a child fails, it is not the child that fails, but it's the teacher. Because the teacher has not been able to put into place the child. Yes. You know, when a child, you should be observant.
Yes.
When a child comes in as a psychologist, you know that when there's problem in the home, it will affect the child, and the child is always quiet, is this. For you as a teacher, you are supposed to observe and bring that child close. You will go extra mile to see her parents or his parents and say, what is happening to this child? Then they'll be able to, let's do it this way. I even know one of our students' father or students' mother who is also a psychologist. I can bring the two of you together and we solve problems. What are they doing PTA? PTA is a place where they should solve problems and encourage parents that this is how you do it, this is how to do it. Are we doing that?
I think PTA is now just to discuss enough money, the increment of parties,
and graduations.
Exactly.
This graduation, they have to buy graduation gown and spend money.
All right, we've been speaking with Bola. She's been a member of the family and she has spoken extensively about how we can guide our children in choosing the right path for themselves when they grow up. The role of guidance and counselor in shaping the future leaders is very important. But it starts with you as parents, a lot. And then she says something that is key. Even the teachers are not even proud of saying the students they are teaching should also be teachers. And she used the word "you have failed." If you cannot, there is this question they always ask: what you're doing, do you want your child? Will you be proud to say your child should continue that? So if you're not proud of that thing you're doing, I'm sure you will also want any of your students. And we know that without teachers, nobody can become anything in the world, because they are the one who exposes you to everything you need to know, especially guiding you on the course you have to go. Thank you, Bola. You want to say something?
Yes. When you talk of passion, when you talk of following your dream, it is something you can do without being paid for.
Yes. That's exactly it. Something you love to do, even without expecting much. Not expecting anything, Thank you very much, Bola, for coming on this show. I don't know what to call you. Alright, so take a break. We'll come back. We hit the trending Paris. Stay with us. Joining us is the perspectives on Osrc television. Now we're going straight to the trending stories, and I'll start with this one. Atiku Abubakar resigns from PDP. Atiku Abubakar, former Nigerian Vice President, has announced his resignation from the People's Democratic Party (PDP). Atiku's letter, dated July 14, 2025, was posted by Duli Momodu and addressed to the chairman, PDP, Jada 1 Ward, Jada Local Government Area at Adamawa State. In the letter seen by Atiku, he said, and I quote, "Dear Chairman, letter of resignation of membership. I am writing to formally resign my membership from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) with immediate effect. I would like to take this opportunity to express my profound gratitude for the opportunities I have been given by the party. Serving 2 full terms as Vice President of Nigeria and being a presidential candidate twice has been one of the most significant chapters of my life. As a founding father of this esteemed party, it is indeed heartbreaking for me to make this decision. However, I find it necessary to part ways due to the current trajectory the party has taken, which I believe diverges from the foundational principles we stood for. It is with a heavy heart that I resign, recognizing the irreconcilable differences that have emerged. I wish the party and its leadership all the best in the future. Thank you once again for the opportunities and
the way you're reading, like there is something you want to say, but you're like, let me not say it. Okay, let me help you and say something.
If you want to say. Now let's take it back. In 2006, it is on the record that Atiku was first in PDP, and in 2006 he moved from PDP to AC. In 2009 he moved from AC to PDP. In 2014 he moved back from PDP to APC. In 2017 he moved from APC back to PDP. And this is 2025, and it's moving again from PDP to APC. And now lots of comments have been coming. We have one, first of all, from Keramo, the Minister of Aviation, saying that the timing for this was wrong. That since they are still mourning the former president, that he is trying to take their attention away from the mourning period to himself. So Keramo actually came and addressed it and said his timing was wrong. But then coming again, we have another backlash coming from, I think, Wike's aide, saying he's always moving. He's moving again.
Which was what you also
that was why I brought that verse. Like in 2006 down to 2017, he has been moving.
So in other words, we are not new to his movement. Yes. It's always been from one party to another. And for what? Because he wants to be the president.
And that is why, I think a few weeks ago we talked about the coalition and how it is going to, we are still seeing where this journey is leading to, because at this point, I think the party is made up of lots of people with same intentions. Now, what are your intentions for coming into ADC? Is it just because you people want to remove somebody? And you can, I think their intentions, first of all, it's not even genuine. It's not genuine, because now we have Atiku there, we have Peter, we have a lot of people, and they've all
the funniest comment I got was that now that Atiku has officially left PDP, imagine Obi returns to PDP, automatically rendering ADC useless. This move does not only guarantee his ticket at PDP, but weeds out the bad egg.
But then I don't think it renders ADC useless.
No, I don't also feel
it doesn't it just only makes the competition tougher.
Yes, exactly.
Because even though I would not advise that, why would you put everybody in one party? They can't, and you can see the people that are in the party, they all have same interest. Now that's why I said their intentions are not pure. If the intentions are like, okay, we want a better Nigeria, we want change, then I think irrespective of who is coming out, it won't be a problem. We just want ABC to be the umbrella for change. And I think they're not using it as the umbrella for change. They are using it for themselves.
Just reeks of desperation for power.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of people are saying right now.
Yes.
It's more of desperation. Like, okay, if I don't get it here, I will get it here. So it's more like that. But if it's about saving Nigeria, which is what they said, that they want to save Nigeria from the APC clutch, and that the Nigerians are suffering, I think it will have been better if all of these people are more of, fathers that young ones would look up to. They should just bring a fresh blood and support. A lot of people are like, okay, look at the youths. You are always saying the leaders of tomorrow. When would they be the leaders of tomorrow? When the opportunities are not even presented themselves. You see, so what they will have done, yes, if you feel this is to save Nigeria, then it will have been right for you to just look at bringing up someone and your support. It shouldn't be about I want to be. And that's why a lot of people are already saying this ADC no go last.
Yes, it's like it cannot stand condemning the party, but forgetting that they are the members of the party. They are the ones representing the party. The party does not represent itself. What makes us the party is the members in the party. So even if you move from PDP to ADC to APC, it's still the same thing. Until you've decided that, no, I am here for the people and not for myself, then I think Nigeria will be a better place.
And that's why we still have more defections.
I said something. I said we are going to have more defections and more defections, because as they are coming in, when you come into ABC and you find out that there is nothing here for me. You go and she said something that if Peter Obi is to now go back to PDP, do you understand? So I feel like everybody are coming to ABC, but by the time you realize that this person is not willing to step down for me to represent as a presidential candidate, and this other one finds out this, they are going to come out again from that ABC. But then 2027 is just like a lot is going to happen before then.
It's still far, but it's a lot. It's getting closer. It's fake. It's so far. And also, I talk about deflation. Dele Momodu has also dumped PDP and has moved to ADC, blaming anti-democratic forces for that. Well, like I said, there's going to be more of defections. Moving ahead, court acquits Fayose of money laundering. A federal high court in Lagos has discharged and acquitted former Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose of all charges in his long-standing money laundering case brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC). Justice Chukwuejoku Aneke on Wednesday upheld Fayose's no case submission on the grounds that the prosecution failed to establish a prima facie case against him to warrant his defense. Fayose had been standing trial on allegations bordering on money laundering and fraud during his tenure as governor. The court, after years of legal proceedings, found that the evidence presented by the EFCC was insufficient to sustain the charges.
Okay, I think this is a good one for him. It's a celebration, because I think I saw videos of him celebrating, eating amala. I don't have a video.
We'll take a pause here and then let's see if we can get that video where it's celebrated with his side where they were all eating amala. So let's take a pause and go to the other side and see if that video can be played. And it's been celebration galore, you know.
Yes, of course. The fact that he has been acquitted for money laundering, that's a big one.
It's been a long battle.
It is.
7 years. It's been on it.
It's like that. It's like eating amala.
APC tactics is been defending Tinubu. What else do you expect?
There have been lots and lots of comments regarding that, you know. Some people say it's a case of join me, work for me, you know, in 2027, and your sin will be forgiven. Allegedly. Some other comments, some comments are like, okay, so is he already planning now to join the APC? Was that why his sin was forgiven? A lot of people still believe, although that has been appealed by EFCC, has said they are going to appeal that ruling. Yes, that they are still they have the evidence that he actually laundered money, and so they are going to appeal that.
But then the court is saying the evidence are not are insufficient and can sustain the charges that they're claiming. So I think it's still like back. Although the court has given its judgment, EFCC is still saying, okay, no, we still have more to bring. So at this point, I think we don't really know what to expect, but we'll see how it turns out.
And the Governor Fayose in the 6.9 billion money laundering case instead since October 2022-2018. The FCC disclosed this in a statement hours after the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos discharged Fayose from the case following his no case submission. Fayose and Spotless Investment Limited were first arraigned by the EFCC on October 22, but Justice Mojisola Olatoregun, the EFCC had by Justice Mojisola Olatoregun, and the EFCC had on Tuesday, July 2, 2019, we arraigned the defendants on an 11-count charge bordering on money laundering and stealing to the tune of 6.9 billion. That's about 6 billion 900 million naira. Although they pleaded not guilty to that, and of course, the FCC said we will appeal we will appeal that case. So it's not all rule yet for fire.
So, but are you trying to say you should not allow the Amala settle down?
So should not
digress.
No, still okay. We have the video now. Let's watch it.
Gentlemen, yeah. We thank God for giving me victory. That's why we are celebrating with Amala. Yes. Yes. Jesus Christ says, these ones are my family. These are my family members. These gentlemen, yeah. We thank God for giving me victory after 7 years. We give all the glory to God. Thank you, Lord. I hope you are enjoying your Amala. Yes. Enjoy it. Yes, thank you.
In that video, he said he's happy. He's happy that he's finally free from the court case. The thing has taken so much. And when that case was also delivered, it was said that he broke down in tears. You know, he had tears of joy to say, finally.
But let's see what comes after, because since EFCC is still saying that they will appeal this, so
an interesting one there. He didn't go home to celebrate with his family. With Amala, the site workers. Okay, moving ahead. Court rejects Yahya Bello's foreign trip request, gives reason. The Federal Capital Territory FCTI Court in Maitama, Abuja, on Thursday, that was yesterday, declined the former Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello's application for the release of his passport to enable him to travel to the United Kingdom for medical reasons. Turning down the request in a ruling, the judge, Marianne Aneni, ruled that Mr. Bello's passport was not in the court's custody. She said the court could not give what it did not have, therefore the application is void, not just premature but preemptive. Ms. Aneni also noted that the court could have considered the submissions of the lawyers if the passport had been before the FCTI court. She held that the application was rendered incompetent by the passport not being in the court's possession. The judge said that the application submitted by Mr. Bello was misleading in his assumption that his passport was before the FCTI court. She clarified that the bail conditions given to the defendant had required him to submit his passport or an affidavit if it was before another court. That's earlier this month, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, (EFCC), which is prosecuting Mr. Bello alongside two co-defendants on charges of diverting 110 billion naira belonging to Kogi State, opposed the application for the release of the former governor's passport at a hearing. The court ordered the seizure of the passport last year as part of the conditions imposed on Mr. Bello.
There is something I want to address first before I actually even talk about the appeal and not. The first thing is this. If you see the reason, what is the reason that he wants the passport?
He wants to travel abroad for medical treatment. Medical.
Good. No. That is what I mean. That is my point. That is my point. You want to travel for medical reasons. Now, do you feel if the medical facilities in Nigeria is that brings us back to that's where I'm drawing us to that. Now, if we have good medical facilities, would you have reasons to say you want to travel out for medical reasons? Are you trying to even say that you don't trust our medical facilities? That is the first thing that I'm addressing there. So if that is the only reason, then I think this is more of a problem that you think we should solve here in Nigeria. Because I don't think you should think, the reason why you want to travel now is because you're going for medical reasons. We have hospitals in Nigeria, right? Go there.
We have hospitals in Nigeria, yes. But it's so sad the very sad one that our leaders do not believe in.
They don't believe because they know it does not have what it takes.
Because if you spend money in making sure that your medical facilities are okay, I'm sure you trust to want to take treatment.
Yes.
After the late President Muhammadu Buhari's death, there was a message by the Catholic Diocese who said that it's a shame that our leaders will go die abroad all in the name of seeking medical treatment. But in a few years now, we've had cases of two of our presidents.
Now, this is coming from Femi Adesina, a former spokesperson of late President Muhammadu Buhari. And what did he say? He said that the former Nigerian leader could have died long ago if he had used Nigeria hospitals for medical treatment.
He told me he's saying the same thing.
Yes, and this is
that hospitals is not good enough. So that is good enough for us.
That's good enough. Okay, now you see. So that was why when you were reading the stories, I was like, oh, so this is why you want to actually travel. And I don't see. I think if he doesn't get the passport, then maybe you should try the facilities in FCT Abuja. We have lots of hospitals, of course. We do have a lot of big hospitals. Of course, you should maybe try one of them.
But then the quota says
even the passport is
custody.
So I guess maybe we'd have to.
If it's also one of the things he needed to draw for him for his
day, yes.
Is he out of the case yet? Why is he asking for passport? Let him treat himself in Nigeria.
Let him treat himself in Nigeria. I love that.
And also Nigeria's global labor rights ranking of national embarrassment. That's coming from the NLC. The Nigerian Labour Congress has raised concern over the country's poor global standing on workers' rights, believing that Nigeria has once again been ranked among the 10 worst nations in the world for labor rights violation. The NLC described the ranking as a national embarrassment and of course called for employers to lead the charge in reversing the trend. The president of the NLC, Jaja, made this known during the 68th annual general meeting of the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association held in Lagos on Wednesday. Okay, so this global ranking thing is really not going down well with anyone. I mean, as giant of Africa.
Are you sure you're still the giant? We're just the giant.
We just giant by mouth.
When our guest that just left, she said something and she was like, you see, even the teachers, the workers, the ones that if they even manage to pay you well, they would overuse you. These are the labor rights we're talking about. Now you teach maths, you teach English, and now she talked about, like she said, she was once an administrative staff that lived around the school area, and one day she was called that this Bob, tell me, is she an electrician? So you can see how far the employees are being labored. Yes. So I think it's actually something that they should still look into. Just because you are paying someone, then let's stick to the job description. I think that it's called it's job description. Yes, stick to the job description. If you're calling me for this, I'm not into electrical jobs. I don't do tiling. So let's stick to the job description. That is talking about labor rights, the things that we're talking about. Don't start misusing just because you feel okay, we are paid. But if they choose to do it, it is fine, but they are not obligated based on their job description and their employment letter.
Still on the educational sector, like you said, imagine a teacher taking 5 different subjects in a school. You will see a teacher taking English just because maybe the teacher is in the art sector, will be taking English.
They do that a lot. They tell you you're an art student. You can take this. Because you're an art student does not mean you do major in one. You can do it just because you have a bachelor's in art degree in English does not mean you should teach government. You teach civic education. Yes, that's because you're an art student doesn't mean you should do that. That's when you see science teacher too. A science teacher will teach maths, biology, physics.
And they don't even pay them well. They still pay them the regular amount.
So I think it's actually more.
We should make new rules.
It's been violated, and that's why the NSA president condemned the ongoing efforts by some state governors and lawmakers also to remove labor matters. We never stop and finish. You want to remove labor matter from the exclusive legislative list. I bet how that one work out. So warning that such moves could destabilize industrial relations across the country. And you've both of you have spoken well about the way workers are being used. I mean, we are our ranking is so poor. We need to do more. All right, let's move to another of our trending issue. Forget ownership position if you can't practice our traditions. Olowo tells monarchs. The Olowo of Owo and chairman of the Ondo State Council of Traditional Rulers, Oba Ajibade Gbadegesin Oguoye III, has said that anyone who does not want to abide by the ancient practices of the institution should not accept to be a king. He made this known in Akure at a colloquium organized by the 10th coronation anniversary of the Deji of Akure, Oba Alade Toyibo Ogunlade Alade Lucy. Oba Gbadegesin was reacting to an earlier criticism of the traditional institution by a discursant at the colloquium. Dr. Festus Adebayo, who alleged that the institution had lost virtually all the myths associated with it as reason why its vital roles in nation building could not be achieved. Adebayo traced the historical relevance of the traditional institution from the pre-colonial to the present modern time, said though the values of the institution are of immense values in nation building, the current occupiers of the stools have defaced it. I don't know why I have to stress that.
Emphasis on defaced.
That's not far from the truth. Because that takes me to a story sometimes ago. We were supposed to treat that story here when our guest could not make it.
Okay.
Where an Oba raped a 12-year-old girl. I mean,
it wasn't stated that it was an Oba.
It's a tradition.
A ruler, community ruler, but it's someone that's a chief. Yes, someone that is a public chief. Yes, an eye chief or something like that. But then you see, talking about if you are not ready to follow traditions, don't be an Oba. If you know that you are not strong enough to take leadership duties or leadership position, do not take it. Because, like, I think when you said something and I'm like, we have 3 religions. You have to pick one. You cannot romance between the 3. You cannot be you can't be a Muslim and a Christian at the same time. Sure, no, you can't be. I think even in the Bible it said you cannot worship. You can't two masters. I think even like we always talk about we can't even have 2 captains in a ship. So of course you cannot serve 2 masters. If you know that maybe the traditions and your belief does not align, then pick and go with what your belief aligns with. If you know it doesn't go with the traditional way of things and you prefer, the Christianity way is the way I want to follow, is the way I want to be, then be that and leave Obaship and all those things for them. But then you cannot be an Oba and you're trying to, should I say, release or change control. It comes with a lot of rules.
Tasks. Yes. So you can't say you're performing those rituals and you still want to be a Christian.
Yes. I think most of them, when they get there, they don't want to perform those rituals because it does not align with their belief. Hence why they are saying, if you know you cannot stick with the tradition, then don't take the position of an Oba. I think that's what it's talking about.
They are important. They already laid down things that have been going on before. So you can't just come and change some of these laid down rules and stuff.
If you want to have the title, you should also be able to take those rights and embrace the tradition. Embrace the tradition, not just the title.
Exactly. You know what it takes. You want to be an Oba. It's so loving, interesting is a thing you fought for because you want the power. So it's more for me like you want power, but you don't want to do those things that come with the power. Because if you're saying as another, there are some rights you can't do, there are some sacrifices you can't take because God does not permit it.
Power comes with a lot of struggle.
Exactly. So why struggle for it from beginning if you know you are not? And that's why some people have said, and I'm a Christian, and I'm not saying that Christianity Albers should not go to church or something or not do what they need to do. But the truth is, if you must be a traditional man, do it to the traditional. Even the Bible said there is a way you say you don't money. You can't mix two things together. You know, you just have to know that this is, if you believed in it. That's why you fight for it. You wanted it. Some I've seen people, I've heard stories, especially those that passed ownership from their generation that it belongs to one family to do. And you know that once I'm gone, my son will take over. I've heard people that it's their right and they said no, I don't want.
Decline the offer.
So why don't you decline when you know that you cannot do what it takes to be all the answer to
that? Actually, a monarch being in church and we are singing, I will never worship mommy. It was when I was singing.
My family and church disowned me after I was accused of stealing money I know nothing about. Man's final words before he committed suicide in Ekiti. A man identified as Dolapo Augustine Awolola left behind a heart-wrenching final note before he committed suicide in Ekiti State. Awolola's lifeless body was discovered inside a classroom at Iwoko Community High School in Irepo-Odun and Ifelodun local government area of the state on Tuesday, July 15, 2025. According to security analyst Zagazola Makama, the tragedy unfolded on July 15 when a school security guard, Mr. Sunday Salami, found Awolola lying face up, motionless, dressed in the white garment of the Celestial Church of Christ and a gold-plated necklace around his neck. Inside his pocket, alongside a black purse and Android phone, was the suicide note. In the notes, Awolola wrote that he was accused of stealing 3.8 million naira, an allegation he insisted was false. He said the weight of judgment, not just from strangers, but from those closest to him, his own family and his church, became too much to bear. No signs of physical violence was observed on his body, according to the preliminary assessment by police operatives who arrived the scene and later evacuated the corpse to the Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital morgue for autopsy. He chose a school, a place of learning, as the final chapter of his life, perhaps hoping that his death would teach a lesson his life couldn't. That's a sad one. That's a sad one. I think recently, was it last week, we had a case where a man has been jailed for 26 years. 20-something years. I think 26 years for a crime he didn't commit. Now imagine now, so you know, people handle things differently. I so much commend that man, the fact that even though he came out, he still, he didn't weigh him down, he's still ready to, come back to the society and start up and pick up from where he left. But you know, people handle things differently. Some people, criticism easily gets to them. And that brings me back to your family members. I think our family should know us better than others. There are some things that when you go home and say, I so sad did, my daddy will tell you, it cannot be her. And there are some things that you will also tell my daddy that I so sad did, and my daddy will say, I know her, she can do this one. So I think maybe him coming, of course now he was not arrested, so it's still like allegations.
But I think the criticism he got from the people around him, his church members.
The church that is supposed to accept you in your downtimes, how would the church reject?
I won't even blame the church. It's even the family. The church, yes, in as much as they know you, but they don't say it should be a safe place. But your family should even be a safer space. If the family can condemn you, how much more blame the church? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's wrong.
Of the world, we don't even regard mental health. We don't regard mental health.
You see, that's the thing. You see people withdrawing, and their first thing is, don't mind them. That's what they do. Sometimes people are going through a lot.
Not only you, they go through something. Everybody, they face a lot. That's the comments everybody makes now when someone complains about something that is bothering them. We are all facing a lot. We don't even bother looking out for each other again.
That's it. That's
sad.
It's very, very sad. It's very, very sad for this man. If he kept to his last day, his dying day, he still wrote that he was innocent of the crime that he was accused of. And it's a case here where where a lot of people, they say nobody wants to associate with failure. I guess that's why the family who should, when someone is going through issue, like I also said, your family, it should shield you. Not like you're shielding the wrong thing. And then try to find out from him or whether this actually happened. Okay, if it happened, what do we do
to manage the situation?
At the same time, why he mentioned the church, which Tony Lapa also said, the church, it should be a safe place. I mean, supposing he actually committed the offense, is it chasing him away now, make him change? How will he become repentant? How will he know that what he did is wrong and not to do it again? So church is supposed to be where he should even find succor. He should be able to even tell the truth. You know, if he was welcome, if actually he did it, he'll be able to say it.
There should be no judgment in church. You're not meant to judge people. You're not supposed
to judge. Exactly, that's the word. Well, it's sad that it's gone. And to a lot of people who knows about him, the family, and the church that rejected him, I just know that I wonder how they feel now. And as humans, please, you mentioned mental health. People are going through a lot of issues. Please, let's not neglect ourselves. Yes, everybody is going through issues. Look, really, but issues are more than issues. And despite the fact that you're going through an issue or an issue, you can still help someone else to get out of it. So in process of even helping someone get out of his own issue, you might also find healing for yourself. Okay, let's go to the next one. You're a wasteful child. Another hurtful one. Father's heartbreaking response to daughter who asked him for her school project trends. A father's heartbreaking response to his daughter who has asked him for money for her school project has surfaced online, sparking reactions from social media users. In the voice note that has gone viral, the father harshly scolds his daughter, who is in her final year, for asking him for money for her project. He firmly tells her that he has no financial obligations towards her and wants nothing to do with her when it comes to money. Speaking his mind, the father told his daughter that if she wants to drop out of school, she should go ahead, and he has no money to give her. He also labeled her a wasteful child, berating his daughter for asking for a school project. The father said there are lots of students like her who are also from poor homes, and they are managing their lives without asking their parents for money. He concluded by blasting the living daylights out of his daughter as he told her to get out of his life.
I think what I see here is family issues that are not resolved. Because I would like to know at first, what is the relationship between the father and the child, and even the mother? Maybe it's a case of a child that is outside and the man has a family, because with the way he's talking, like he doesn't have any financial obligations towards her. So I feel like they are not together.
Yeah,
but that
underlying issue.
Yes, I feel like maybe they didn't grow up together. Maybe it's just okay. This one is my child from that woman outside. I don't really know. Yes, but that doesn't give him the right to speak that way. I think you can just easily tell her you don't have money. Maybe you should ask your mom. I'm also financially down right now. There are ways we talk to people. Now imagine this child now decides to take laws into her hands or do something. We are all going to come here and say, children of nowadays. But if she didn't come right now,
comments from parents always it's harder than
Imagine telling her to drop out. That see our friends that are also from poor homes, they are doing well and they don't ask their parents for money. You don't know what those children are doing.
Yes.
To get the money. But I think that's one thing. When you see children with money, you tend to say, these children, how are they making the money? Yeah. Now you see one that is coming home to ask for money. We are saying, why don't you be like the rest of your friends? Do you know what their friends are doing?
Yes, that comment really you're saying there are a lot of people like
do you know what they are doing? Do you know what they are doing?
She wasn't this. She's a girl child.
Yes.
She's a girl and you're asking her to fend for her. Indirectly you're telling her to fend for herself.
Of course.
That is none of your business and she should not ask you anything when it comes to money. So what should she ask you? She's in school. She's in final year. She wants to do a project. Who should she run to? And listen to that voice note and I heard her saying, you're wasteful. Okay, let's even take it. Maybe she's been asking for money for too much or something. But still, that's not the way to handle it as a father.
I'm sure if it was money for marriage or something, he would have quickly raised it because some fathers are so quick to push their daughter out to marriage, but when it comes to education, it's always the other way around. They value the male child more than the girl child. So that's what I feel.
But I think this particular father, it's not even about valuing. He doesn't value anyone. He doesn't
God also knows his mental.
Exactly.
God knows where he's going. He's going through.
Yes, because of the way he handled the situation.
Exactly. Quickly, we have. Let's take this story. How landlord mastermind kidnap, murder of missing AAU students. That's from police. The Ondo State Police Command has unraveled a chilling plot involving the kidnap, rape, and murder of two students of Adekunle Ajashin University, Akumba Akoko AAUA, masterminded by their landlord. The shocking revelation was made during a brief press briefing by the Commissioner of Police, Adebo Wale Lawal, who outlined several recent breakthroughs recorded by the command in its ongoing operations to combat crime across the state. According to the police, the case involving the murdered students, 25-year-old Abajon Friday and 90-year-old Oka Andre Eloho, began as a missing persons reports submitted by their families' legal representatives, G.O. Omoidu and co. on June 24. This is another sad one. The news broke out that those students were missing and they were being searched for a long time only to discover that they are dead landlord. And now the revelation is that the landlord was involved in all of this. How can?
When I heard it, I was sad because first, what was the intention? Was it for kidnap and ransom?
And what? I know as time goes on. Yeah, yes. But then, because of our time, we have to end with this very good, interesting one. Okay. Odogbolu born Oluwafisayo Olawale Ifon Laja emerges overall best graduating students from Nigeria Law School for 2024-2025 session, and he said we are thrilled to announce that Odogbolu born Oluwafisayo was the overall best graduating student in an impressive display of academic excellence. Oluwafisayo Olawale Ifon Laja won 18 prestigious awards, solidifying his position as a standout student. The Nigerian Law School, renowned for its rigorous academic programs, has once again produced an exceptional student who has excelled in his studies. Wow, congratulations to Oluwabusayo. Yes, Oluwabusayo Olawale.
I always say it, when Nigerians want to do something, they do exceptionally well. And of course, I think for some weeks now, we've been talking about Nigerians doing both in Nigeria and in diaspora. So of course, I trust our people. We are doing well.
We are indeed doing well. Congratulations to him. It shows that whatever you set your mind to do, please put your heart to it and do it well. Final word from you, Tolulope.
The rate of insecurity is high now, so we should always look out for one another and let people know when you're going out. At least let one or two people know where you're going to.
Okay, for me, I would say your name is your pride. Your name is your reputation. Guide it with care.
Don't soil your name, and please, let's be our brother's keepers. Don't always believe that you are the one with the biggest issue. If you can, please, which is even very important, lend a helping hand. This is where we put a full stop to the program today. My name is Romy Allen. Perspectives returns next week. It is bye from us. Bye bye.